What if I told you there's actually a proven way to protect your family from GMO foods and from what many call a hidden crime against humanity? In this video, I'm going to expose the truth behind how these ingredients end up on your table and give you a clear, step-by-step escape plan to shield the people you love. Forget the confusing labels and corporate spin. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which foods to avoid, the 3 seals that actually protect you, and a simple pantry detox system that won't break the bank. This isn't fear-mongering, it's empowerment. If you care about your family's health and your right to real food, you can't afford to miss what's coming next. So, how do we get out of this mess? First, we need to understand what we're really talking about. The term GMO gets thrown around a lot, but what does it actually mean? Think of a plant's DNA like a giant instruction manual. For thousands of years, humans have been editing that manual through things like cross-pollination and selective breeding, saving the seeds from the best plants for next season. It's a slow, natural process. Genetic engineering is totally different. It's like a scientist opening that instruction manual with a word processor, cutting a gene from a completely different species, like a bacteria, and pasting it directly into the plant's DNA. This is a lab process that could never happen in nature, and the goal is to give the plant a new trait it wouldn't normally have. What's the most common trait? Herbicide resistance. This is the heart of the issue. A huge majority of GMOs grown in the U.S. are engineered for one main purpose: to survive being sprayed with powerful weed killers, specifically glyphosate, the main ingredient in products like Roundup. These are the Roundup-ready crops. The idea was to let farmers spray their entire fields, killing the weeds but leaving the crop. Efficient? Maybe. But here's the consequence for us. When that plant is sprayed, it doesn't just deflect the chemical. It absorbs it. It's inside the plant's tissues, from the root to the bean. You can't wash it off. So, when you eat foods made from these crops, you're not just eating the food. You're also consuming the herbicide it was built to withstand. While regulators say these residue levels are within safety thresholds, the sheer amount of this chemical in our food supply is a growing source of concern for many consumers and independent scientists. You might be thinking, how much of this stuff am I actually eating? Probably a lot more than you realize. For main GMO crops are the pillars of the processed food industry: corn, soy, canola, and cotton for its oil. In the U.S., over 90% of all corn and soy grown is genetically modified. Now think about how many products use ingredients from those 4 crops. High-fructose corn syrup, cornstarch, soybean oil, soy lecithin, canola oil. These aren't just obscure ingredients. They're the foundation of the modern supermarket. If it comes in a box, a bag, or a can, there's a good chance it has a GMO component. This is where things get really confusing for us as parents. If you listen to major governmental and scientific bodies like the U.S. National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine and the World Health Organization, you'll hear that there's a broad scientific agreement that the GMO foods on the market are safe to eat. They reviewed hundreds of studies and concluded that these foods pose no more risk than their non-GMO counterparts. A 2024 paper even noted that after nearly 30 years, no harm has been proven to human consumers from an approved GMO. So, why are we even having this conversation? Because that's not the whole story. There's a vocal and growing body of independent scientists, doctors, and advocates who argue that the case is far from closed, stating there is no scientific consensus on GMO safety. They argue that many safety studies were funded by the very corporations that create the seeds, creating a potential conflict of interest. They also point out a critical lack of independent, long-term human health studies, the kind of work that eventually prove the dangers of things like trans fats. These critics point to a collection of animal studies that have raised red flags, suggesting potential health issues that they believe warrant more caution. You have one side declaring the science is settled, and the other warning that we're in the middle of a giant, uncontrolled experiment. And our families are caught right in the middle. Being caught in that crossfire is frustrating. You just want to buy good food for your family. So let's zoom in on the concrete reasons that lead millions of people to follow the precautionary principle. It's a simple idea that reflects a core belief in equal opportunity for health. When an activity raises potential threats of harm, we should all have the right to take precautions, even if we don't have 100% scientific proof yet. In other words, better safe than sorry, especially with our kids. Let's look closer at the concerns. While many animal feeding studies have shown no issues, critics point to some that have reported adverse effects in rats fed certain GMOs, such as changes in organ function, particularly the liver and kidneys. Proponents of the technology correctly point out that these studies are often inconsistent or have design flaws, but for those following precautionary principle, they serve as a red flag that more independent research is needed. Then you have the glyphosate controversy, which is much more tangible. In 2015, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer, IRC, classified glyphosate as a probable human carcinogen. That was a huge moment. However, other regulatory bodies, like the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, came to the opposite conclusion, stating it's not likely to be carcinogenic to humans at current exposure levels. This deep division is a major reason for concern on its own. How can two groups of world-class scientists look at the data and see completely different things? It often comes down to which studies they prioritize. IRC gave weight to published peer-reviewed science, while the EPA has been criticized for relying more heavily on unpublished, industry-sponsored studies. Beyond the cancer debate, other research is raising new questions. Some studies suggest glyphosate could act as an endocrine disruptor, meaning it might interfere with the body's hormones. And because glyphosate was originally patented as an antibiotic, scientists are investigating its effect on our gut microbiome, the trillions of good bacteria essential for everything from immunity to mental health. Recent research has also suggested potential links in animal studies between glyphosate exposure and neuroinflammation or inflammation in the brain. These ingredients are often hidden where you least expect them. It's not just corn on the cob. It's the high fructose corn syrup in soda, the soy lecithin in a chocolate bar, and the canola oil in salad dressing. Even the artificial sweetener aspartame is often made using genetically modified bacteria. While regulatory agencies say the final product is safe because it doesn't contain modified DNA, it's just another example of how this technology is woven into our food supply. And that brings us to the final problem, the labeling labyrinth. After years of fighting for transparency, the U.S. finally got a mandatory disclosure law. But many critics argue the law was designed to be as confusing as possible. First, it uses the term bioengineered or BE, which most people don't recognize, instead of GMO. Second, companies can disclose this with a tiny QR code you have to scan with your phone in the middle of the store. Third, and most importantly, the law is full of loopholes. Highly refined ingredients like corn syrup or soybean oil might be exempt if the GMO material isn't detectable in the final product. And meat, dairy, or eggs from animals raised on a diet of GMO corn and soy are also completely exempt from labeling. The result is a system that compromises health equity by failing to give everyone clear, accessible information. But you are not powerless. That feeling ends today. If you're finding this helpful and want to keep learning how to take back control of your family's health, please take a second to subscribe and click the notification bell. We're building a community dedicated to sharing real solutions, and your support helps us get this information out to more people. The solution: your step-by-step escape plan. Welcome back. We've laid out the problem, but now we're at the most important part, your escape plan. These are clear, actionable steps to help you build a healthy pantry with confidence. This is about making conscious choices, one step at a time, with tools that should be available to everyone. Step 1. Become a label detective. The big 3 seals of approval. Your single most powerful tool is knowing how to read labels. Forget the splashy claims on the front of the box. The real story is in the certifications on the back. Look for these 3 seals. Seal number 1, the USDA Organic Seal. This is your gold standard. If you see the USDA Organic Seal, it means the product by law cannot contain GMO ingredients. It also means a farmer couldn't use most synthetic pesticides, including glyphosate. It's the most comprehensive seal for avoiding both GMOs and the chemicals that come with them. Seal number 2, the Non-GMO Project Verified Seal. This is the one with the butterfly. This is a third-party nonprofit that does rigorous testing to verify a product is free of GMOs. It's an excellent guarantee. Just know the difference. A product can be Non-GMO Project Verified, but not organic. meaning it could still have been grown with other pesticides. If avoiding GMOs is your top priority, the butterfly is great. If you want to avoid both GMOs and pesticides, organic is the better choice. The absolute best case scenario, a product with both seals. Seal number 3, 100% grass-fed certification. This is for your meat, dairy, and eggs. Remember that loophole? Animals fed GMOs don't have to be labeled. Conventionally raised animals are almost always fed a diet of GMO corn and soy. When you see 100% grass-fed, especially if it's verified by a third party, it means the animal ate a natural diet of grass. This helps you avoid the downstream effects of GMO feed and is a vote for a more humane system. For chicken and eggs, look for the term pasture-raised. Mastering these 3 seals will instantly make you a smarter, faster shopper. Step 2. Master the grocery store aisles. Once you know the labels, you need a store strategy. The perimeter rule. Start by shopping the perimeter of a store. This is where the whole foods live. Fresh produce, meat, and dairy. The center aisles are the danger zone, the land to process packaged foods where hidden GMO ingredients lurk. Fill your cart from the outside in. The produce section strategy. Not all produce is high risk. The main GMO produce items in the U.S. are some varieties of sweet corn. Some are squash, like zucchini, some potatoes, and papayas. To be safe with these, always buy organic. For everything else, the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists are your best friends. The Dirty Dozen lists the produce with the most pesticide residue, like strawberries and spinach. Prioritize buying these organic. The Clean 15 has the least, like avocados and pineapples, so you can feel more comfortable buying those conventional if you're on a budget. Navigating the center aisles. When you do need to go into the center aisles, put on your detective hat. Scan ingredient lists for derivatives of the big 4 GMO crops. Corn, high fructose corn syrup, cornstarch, corn oil. Soy, soybean oil, soy protein, soy lecithin. Canola, canola oil. Sugar. If a label just says sugar, it's almost certainly from GMO sugar beets. Look for cane sugar or organic sugar. Once you start seeing these, you can make simple swaps. Swap canola/vegetable oil for olive, avocado, or coconut oil. Swap conventional butter for organic, grass-fed butter. Swap sugary cereals for organic oat-based ones. Swap conventional dressings for a simple homemade one with olive oil and vinegar. Step 3. The pantry detox. Time to bring the battle home. This can feel huge, so let's break it down. Phase 1. Identify and isolate. On a weekend, go through your pantry and fridge. Read every label. If you see a high-risk ingredient, corn syrup, soybean oil, etc., and there's no organic or non-GMO seal, put it in a separate box. This is your quarantine box. The goal isn't guilt. It's awareness. It's a powerful visual. Phase 2, the gradual replacement plan. This is the key to making this work. Don't throw the box away. That's wasteful. Instead, as you use up an item from a box, you replace it with a better version. Finish the conventional ketchup. The next one you buy is organic. This use one, replace one strategy lets you upgrade your pantry over time without breaking the bank. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Start restocking with safe staples. Organic grains, rice, oats, organic beans and lentils, organic pasta, organic canned tomatoes, good oils, olive, coconut, avocado, organic nuts and seeds, and better sweeteners like maple syrup or raw honey. Step 4. Beyond the grocery store. Your best move is to opt out of the industrial system when you can. Farmers markets. This is the best way to get fresh, seasonal produce and connect with the person who grew it. You can ask them directly. Do you spray your crops? Do you use GMO seeds? Many small farmers use organic methods, but can't afford the certification. Community-supported agriculture. CSA you buy a share in a local farm and get a box of fresh produce every week. It's an amazing way to support local farmers and eat a diverse, healthy diet. Grow your own food. This is the ultimate act of food freedom. Start small. A few pots of herbs on a windowsill. A single tomato plant in a bucket. A small raised bed with lettuce. The feeling of harvesting food you grew yourself is incredibly empowering. Living the non-GMO lifestyle. What about the rest of life? Here are some tips for common challenges. Eating out, this is tough. Most restaurants use cheap GMO-derived oils and ingredients. Look for farm-to-table or organic restaurants. Don't be afraid to ask, what kind of oil do you cook with? Be wary of sauces, dressings, and fried foods. Simple grilled fish or chicken with steamed veggies is often a safer choice. Making it work on a budget. This is a real concern, and it's central to my creed. I believe in equal opportunity for all in both health and resources. A healthy life shouldn't be a luxury. Buy in bulk. Organic oats, rice, and beans are much cheaper from bulk bins. Prioritize. Use the Dirty Dozen list to know where to spend your organic dollars. Cook from scratch. This is the biggest money saver. A bag of organic beans is cheaper than a processed frozen meal. Reduce food waste. Plan your meals and use your leftovers. Embrace store brands. Many stores now have their own affordable organic lines. This isn't about perfection. It's about being intentional. You now have the escape plan. You have the knowledge to decode a food system that was designed to be confusing. You know the labels to trust, the strategy for the store, and the plan to build a healthier home. This isn't about living in fear. It's about empowerment. It's about taking back control from a system that doesn't always have our best interests at heart. Every organic apple, every non-GMO loaf of bread, every meal cooked from scratch is a small victory. This journey isn't just about protecting our own families. It's a vote for a system that offers equal opportunity for all in both health and resources. I want to hear from you. We are all on this journey together. What is the one change you're going to make this week after watching this? Maybe it's just swapping your cooking oil. Maybe it's taking that first look through your pantry. Share it in the comments below. Your first step can be the inspiration someone else needs to start their own journey. If this video gave you the plan you were looking for, please give a thumbs up. It really helps the channel reach more families. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more videos to help you protect the ones you love. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring.